This movie is about many things. I mean, it's a love story, and it's a beautiful love story by any measure. It's a great love story, period. And, you know, it is also a movie about sexual awakening. So there's something very modern about the way this movie plays out, regardless of it being in the 18th century. It feels radical and current for today. Was that an overt choice to direct it that way, or did it just sort of come naturally?
Well, I didn't want the movie to be anachronistic at all. I worked really, really hard, documented myself really hard, worked also with sociologists of the arts, specialists of this specific period. And everything is historically accurate. And I think, you know, the project was to give back them, their bodies, the rush of blood to this woman from the past, to give back their presence. And I think I didn't want to wink at the present from the past, you know? So I didn't want it to be modern. I just wanted to make them alive.
In terms of the rehearsal, the preparation, did you spend a lot of time together before the film started, so you get to know each other a little, or not?
Not at all. No.
Why?
As Noemi said, we met. We didn't rehearse together, but it doesn't mean that we didn't work separately. So basically, it's easy. Just that you get to learn your lines, but really, perfectly. So you'll be free after to compose a new melody, to also destroy what should be obvious in your line. There's always creativity in the fact that you would change the meaning of the line because you changed the way of saying it. From my perspective, I worked more around also intellectual idea or artistical idea that would be, I wanted to build a character that would portray the journey between being an object to being a subject. So this was my idea from the beginning of my secret plan, in a way, from the beginning, from the beginning of the shooting. So this was the thing I tried to create, to include to my acting, this journey that would involve a slide in the way of acting from the beginning to the end of the movie. It's kind of an inside dolly movement that I tried to portray.
Noemi, what was it like, the preparation that you did, especially in terms of the choreography of a painter?
Yeah, that was a big part of the preparation, was working with, before the shooting, working with Hélène Delmer, who is the person who is in real painting the paintings that you see in the movie. I'm sorry, it's not me. I wish, but I did more like portrait of Eloise, more like Bacon or Picasso, I would say. Even more because I'm left-handed and Hélène is right-handed, so it was really destroy. But no, what I did is observe a lot Hélène before the shooting and try to catch the gaze of the painter, the gaze of the artist, because I kind of made a mix of Hélène's gaze and Céline's gaze, because I think a painter, as all artists, has this particular gaze, which is really concentrate gaze, really mystic also, which is a mix of looking and observe the details, the contrast for a painter, and also have a more global vision of what you do and what you want to share. And I was really trying to catch this. And then there is all the technique and the gesture and the rhythm of the painter between the model and the canvas, and it's 3 steps back, three steps towards the canvas. This kind of the dance of the painter that I was trying to catch also.
So when I saw the film at Telluride, and I met you there, so after I saw the film there, I was going online, I was doing some research about the film, and I think it was at the press conference at Cannes. You mentioned that this is a love story with equality. And that really kind of got to me. What did you mean by that? What you elaborate on that? Because it was such a beautiful description of this movie.
Yeah, the movie is trying to depart globally from the narrative of conflict and the dramaturgy of conflict, and wanted to, as it's a story love story between two women, and that is something that wouldn't have happened if it was a woman and a man. There is no gender domination. But there is also, we decided not to put any intellectual domination, and even though it's a relationship between also a model and an artist, and usually we portray this with the kind of power dynamic. And we also because I wrote it by myself, decided not to also push the buttons of social hierarchy. So we have a love dialogue and a creative dialogue that doesn't rely on the dynamic on the usual power dynamic that we used to, which is the dynamic of conflict. It's also the case for the erotic scenes. They are not based on the eroticism of conflict. What happens when you do that? I mean, it's politically new, so it's new imaginary, so it's interesting, but also it brings new tension in the room, new emotional journey for you, because it's full of surprise. That's why lies inequality in fiction, and I think also in life, it's that it's full of surprise. You don't know what to expect, because usually we used to see films where the scenes are about bargaining. It's a good bargain. That's how we're told to write scenes. Somebody wants something, the other one wants something else, and in the end, you will end up handing the thing. So yeah, that's what equality is in the film.
You talk about the love scenes being erotic, but they're restrained. Like any kind of love story, whether American, foreign, regardless of gender, the love scenes really, they're very, very filled with passion, and they go at it, and they're so choreographed, where it just, you don't buy it. But this was very intimate and authentic, and again, it was erotic, but there was a tremendous amount of restraint to the intimacy. And what was it like to film, to really capture the intimacy between the two of you, to really feel it?
For me, I think this scene embodies a lot of the program of the movie regarding quality. I must say that as an actress, I've been confronted to sex scene like in some other movies, and it's always the same. It's always very the moment where you feel the most uncomfortable on set ever, because everyone is running with bath suit and stuff. So because you don't have to stay naked anyway. But the problem is that most of the time, the director have lack of ideas. They are just doing sex, sacralized stuff. They forget about humor, they forget about imagination and about ideas, which is not what we miss in this case. In this case, we have an idea that is also fun. That is this real penetration of an armpit with a finger. So to me, it shelters me from everything, because I'm not alone, gesturing with my body in the frame. It's just Céline has an idea that would protect Noémie and I from being too naked in a way. So this is what collaboration is. Then when you feel that you're not alone, there's really much thing you can do. And also, I like the fact that it invents new images. That is something that is needed, and also just simply joyful.